And I'm really honored to be hosting Shabnam Tolouei here today to discuss the impact of immigration on professional career. Shabnam is an award-winning Iranian actress, theater director, and playwright. She's won multiple awards from the International Fajre Theatre Festival, which is the most prestigious venue for theater in Iran. In 2006, however, her successful career came to a halt when the Iranian government banned her from working due to her religion. Determined to resist efforts to stifle her artistic expression, she relocated to France to restart her career. She is most widely known internationally for her starring role as Munis in the award-winning Iranian film Women Without Men. In 2016, she co-starred in Tarabnameh in the Stanford Festival of Iranian Arts and directed the documentary Dust, Flower, Flame. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here, Shabnam.
Thank you so much for your invitation.
Yeah. My first question is around your experience being a female actress in Iran and how that changed once you moved to France, which is a relative liberal and secular country.
First of all, my second language is not English. It's French. So I see many Iranian faces here. So if I'm in difficulty and I'm searching for a word, I will ask everyone to help me.
Fair.
So I apologize because I am just using English word to express myself. When you're an actress in Iran, you just have a face. You don't have any body because your body seems to provoke men according to government, whatever. So all the expressions in front of camera comes from this part. You're sad, you're happy, whatever, it happens here, not in your body. Your body is covered. You don't have the right to run in front of camera. We don't have the right as audience to see your body, your, how can you say, how do I say, bumps? Mm-hmm. You don't have the right to show that. You are playing the role of a mother. You are seeing your son after 25 years. This is in scenario. When you see your son, you faint. You can't go toward him and hug him because you can't touch your son, the person who is playing the role of your son. You are playing the role of a wife. It's night. You want to go to bedroom, but you don't go to bedroom. You lie on sofa in the hall and your husband go to bedroom. You lie down with a scarf. We see you sleeping with a scarf, just this part. So there are many difficulties for women, for actresses. But when you're living in Iran, you are used to see that. So you imagine. We have a very strong imagination as an audience. So the woman faints, and you know that, oh, okay, she's hugging her son. The woman is lying on the sofa. You imagine, oh, okay, she's making love with her husband. Okay, I see that. In theater, it's a little different because the audience is less than the audience of TV series or cinema. So you feel kind of freedom as a playwright or as a theater director. So you can see the body still covered, but the body movement. There is an important body language when you are an actress in theater in Iran. And there are many red lines, there are many prohibitions that you cannot cross easily in Iran. Intellectual matters, this is not just sexual or whatever. We have many examples in Iran of filmmakers who are banned to work, or even they are arrested, they are in prison now because they wanted to how can I say, cross the red lines. Mm-hmm. When you leave your country and when you go to a secular country, first of all, I think this is not what happened for me, but I see many actresses they accept, many actresses in free countries accept to have naked photos. because they are frustrated and they want to, this is some kind of, it's some kind of, how can I say, عمل شورشی. Yes, they are, Rebellion, okay. This kind of rebellion act, they want to say that I exist and I want to show my body and I want to be against those laws, those tradition or whatever. But for me, the most important thing was intellectual, freedom.
Yeah.
So I tried to go to the subjects that I couldn't talk about when I was in Iran. Like two plays that I had in Paris. The play that recently, a week ago, I had in Stanford University called Autumn Dance that we were seeing the trailer. Or the documentary film that I made about this Tahireh Qurratullain, the first woman in Iran in 170 years ago, the first woman who unveiled herself, the poetess, and then she was killed. So this is the last part of your question, that it helped me a lot to express myself easily and to cross these taboos and red lines when I arrived to France.
I can imagine, but essentially having the intellectual freedom now to express yourself is really important. And so then what was the most difficult part of immigration, both as an individual but also as a celebrity?
I think when you leave your country when you're a kid, it's so, it could be easier than when you're adults, because even if you're attached to your friends or to your neighbors, or you are in the beginning of your path. You have a long way to go. You are not already someone. You want to become someone. But when you have already a career behind you, when you are already someone in your country and you're forced to leave your country, which was my case, the most difficult part is carrying on your baggage, the baggage that you have picked up throughout the years, with your souvenirs, with your love and hate stories, with your with the scent of the streets, the geography, the history of your country. When you arrive to the new country, it prevents you to go forward, because all the time you open this baggage and you are comparing everything with your past. So sometimes it even prevents you to wake up in the morning. You don't have enough motivation. This was my experience, my own experience, and according to what my friends say in the same situation, I see that this is a common problem. So I needed a long time to get rid of that to go forward.
And I think you're right. I think a lot of the challenges you faced, or just the feelings, is what's shared today with immigrants and refugees. What do you think helped you overcome sort of the feeling that you just described of not being able to get up, or what provided you with the resilience to kind of overcome over the couple of years that you've been in France now?
I think as a human being, I have the right to be sad, to be depressed, to be disappointed. I had serious episodes of deep depression when I arrived in France. But I think, in the same time, I don't have the right to stay in this state of, feeling or mind or whatever. So I try to understand that it's not important who I was. It's important to see what I can do in the moment, in this country. How can I restart everything? It was a very long process for me, but maybe this helped me to overcome everything.
No, I mean, I think it's incredibly difficult, and ultimately, you know, as someone who, as you said, had a career in Iran, and you know, your artistic expression was rooted there, and sort of the Iranian audience defining what you know, plays and acting and all the things that you participated in or led. How do you think now, you know, having left Iran, the Iranian audience being far away, how has that defined your artistic expression and you know, or what art you lead today?
I think the connection is not
Lost.
it's not lost because of this social media. So there are many for all of, I don't like the word celebrities, but for celebrities, for actresses, for actors, for artists. We can be in connection with our fans, but by fans, I mean the audience who loves you, who love you, and who send you positive energy, and who expect you to produce something. So this is a very great motivation. On the other hand, you are not updated because you are far from your country, but there is another positive point when you are far, because you have a wider perspective. So you can look at everything in another way. Even now, I know, even if I want to talk about someone in a village in Iran, I can talk about this person in a way to be understandable for a wider audience, even for European audience, even for American audience, because now I see that there are many common aspects between all human beings. This is not being Iranian. When I want to talk about Iranian people, there's no need to be Iranian to have Iranian audience. Another point is that when you're outside your country, nobody knows you. Even your compatriots?
Yeah,
Even
compatriots,
your compatriots. So even if they know you, they have their own struggles, they have their own daily problems. So you need to create some kind of demand in the audience to tell them that, hey, I exist, I am here, and I have something to share with you. So please come and read my text, please come and watch my play, please come and let's cry together, let's laugh together. So all the time, the artists who are outside Iran, I know many of my friends as well, they do the same as me. We are doing autopromotion, how can I say, self-promotions, yes, all the time. And this helps, this helps you to become demanded, wanted in a positive way. So yes, these are the solutions that we find to keep the connection and to create a new audience outside Iran.
And would you say that in sort of widening the audience, as you said, maybe it's not just Iranians, but Europeans is important for Iranian art?
I think so, yes. It's very important because unfortunately there is kind of stereotype about Middle Eastern countries and people. So when you talk about your country and when you show what is happening, not about politicians or whatever, but you talk about real people, they see that you are equal. We are human beings, we are, and I'm not representative of Iranian regime, but I'm exactly the same as a Chinese actress or whatever, Yeah. So yes, I think it's very important to break these stereotype image.
Absolutely. And overall, what has been important to you as an immigrant woman?
I don't think that there was anything special of being, immigrant, a woman. I'm not sure if I were a man, I studied for this phrase, if I were. Because I thought that I should say if I was, and then I learned that now, if I were. So. if I were a man, I'm not sure if it could change anything. If more doors could be open for me, or less doors, could be open for me. I think the notion of exile is so difficult. When you choose to go to another country, you are an immigrant. When you're forced to leave your country, which was my case, as many other Iranians after the revolution. So even if you are not exiled, but this notion of exile is inside you. So it's so hard. It weighs, how can I say, سنگینه. It's so heavy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't change, your gender doesn't change anything, I think.
Yeah, no. I think these feelings are probably transcending a lot of, whether it's gender or occupation, in the sense that it's so deep and hard to come to terms with. So how does one come to terms with, I guess, one of my final questions is, how do you stay resilient? And what would, if you have any insights or advice or something that you can share, just how do you stay positive?
This is a very, how to stay positive? I think this is a question from the beginning of time. So.
True.
Let me say why I was forced to leave Iran, because after that I can answer maybe better your question. The artists, and especially the artists in the field of cinema and theater in Iran, are the representative of Islamic society. So if you are not Muslim, you will be in trouble. I'm not Muslim. I'm Baha'i. As a Baha'i, you can Google what is Baha'i. I don't want to talk about Baha'i beliefs or whatever. But as a Baha'i, when you are Baha'i, you say that I am Baha'i when you are asked. You don't deny your beliefs. When you deny your beliefs, it means that you are not Baha'i. Basta. Finished. So I was playing in a famous TV series, and then there is a famous questionnaire that must be filled with by all the artists in Iran, especially the artists who work with the national TV. The first question is your name. The second one is your family name. The third one is your father's name. No mother's name is needed, just father's name. And then the fourth question is your religion. I wrote Baha'i, and then the person who was the agent of security service, the intelligence service, he took back the questionnaire, he looked at it, his eyes were shining, I was the fish in the trap, he was so happy about that. And since he knew that, okay, this is the last day of my work, he asked me to take a selfie with him for his family. So we did that, and then I was called by the intelligence service and whatever. So they were very, angry, and they were saying, "Oh, where were you all these years, and why didn't we know that you are Baha'i, and now you need to convert to Islam because you will be the example of whatever?" And I was saying, "No, please, let me work, because I'm not teaching anything about Baha'i faith, or I'm not whatever. And I just want to work, but I'm Baha'i." Anyway, they didn't accept it, and it took two years. It was very hard. I was called every time to this security, we call it security service, and this intelligence service in Iran. So this was my choice. I could have chosen another thing. I could have chosen to write, "I'm Muslim," and I could have stayed in Iran and continue my career. I did something which, according to many of my friends, even my child, who is 8 years old, is not wise, but I did that. And then I had to accept the consequences. It was very, very hard. I could not even imagine that it could be this much hard for me. It was very hard. This is why when I arrived in Paris, I was lost. I didn't know who I am, where I am, why I am there, and I had a serious depression. But since I believe strongly, even now, in personal responsibility, so I try to overcome my depression and all these mental and psychological and social difficulties. I said, okay, I chose something. This is my, I mean, at that time, that was the best choice, according to my beliefs, according to my personal identity, according to my self-esteem, to my personal image. So now I accept it, and now I should go forward. And then one day I woke up and I said, okay, now rebirth. There is another Shabnam. That one doesn't exist anymore. There are lots of beautiful souvenirs from her. You can Google her and what she has done in Iran, but that's finished. Now, what do you want to do here in Paris? How do you want to connect to this society, to these people, to understand why this street has this name? What is behind this? What is behind these smiles? What is behind this behavior in subways or whatever? You know, to understand the people who are surrounding you. And I think this is the, for me, I mean, in one word, to be brief, to take the responsibility and then to stay in the present moment was two keys that helped me to open the door of my new life.
And, you know, I love this word that you used, rebirth. And it sounds like there was a transformation of your identity almost at this point. And what do you think, or, you know, today, how you define your identity today and how it's different? How is it different from, you know, the Shabnam before that we can Google?
You still can Google, they're just carrier, you know. They don't talk about my identity. When you are in a country like Iran, with a dominant tradition, a regime that tries to decide for you,
patriarchy.
Yes, these friends said, yes. The power of father, the power of men, even women don't, I mean, even, yes. In their psychology, they have this, I mean, this notion that men have the right, even if they object, but inside their minds, they think this way. So the elements that you choose to construct your identity is somehow forced by tradition, by family, by regime, by propaganda, even by suppression. If you resist for something that you are not sure if you have the choice, will you choose the same way, even to resist or whatever? When you are forced, I mean, I emphasize the word forced to leave the country, and you land in a new country. Suddenly you wake up and you say, who I am? What is my real identity? And you question all the beliefs and the elements that has built your self-image, your social identity, even your sexual identity. I talked to many Iranians and they had the same experience. They said, yes, when we are, as an adult, I say, when we arrived to, for example, France, we started questioning ourselves whether I am a homosexual or not. Because you are not sure if, you know, you are free now to be whatever you are or to choose whatever you want to be. But in Iran, it's not the same. Even there isn't any regime that suppresses you. This is a family. You're scared to be yourself, you know? So I had all these questions about my identity. And then religious identity. Why have I chosen to be Baha'i? were I influenced by my father? Because I was born in a mixed family. Part of my family are Muslims, part are and my paternal part are Baha'is. So I chose to be Baha'i, but I'm not. I mean, I started questioning myself that have I really chosen to be a Baha'i, or was I influenced by my father, or am I really the person that I'm now? Have I really found my place in the society, or didn't I have any other option? So this is why I became an actress or whatever. Am I not lesbian? Because I had problems in my love story. So what is happening? All these questions. And then I started to, rebuild my identity. Finally, in a free country, I understood that even if I didn't have any choice to be a woman. Mm-hmm. But I think this is not important. Gender, religion, or nationality, or whatever. I'm a human being. This is the most important part, for me, of my identity. This is what, this is a short term, a human being, so you can find it in Google. But this is why this is the gift of this immigration for me, mm-hmm. that I could get rid of everything, and then I choose again what I want. But I see that there is kind of essence of a human being that is most important thing. I mean, more important than all these elements. So, was I clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very much. And my final question, and it's a bit grand, but what's the secret to a happy life?
Oh my God.
I said it was grand.
This is a philosophical question. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, since the beginning of the time, there are many answers. Many people say that no expectation, whatever. I was talking to a friend a couple of weeks ago about happiness. And I'm just repeating what I heard because I like that so much, because I'm searching as well. Mm-hmm. And according to this friend, when you are in search of happiness, you are lost. Because happiness is not outside. Happiness is something inside you. So if you are in peace with yourself, you are happy every day. For me, it was fantastic. I'm not sure if I have arrived to this point or how far am I, but I hope someday I stop searching and I can open my heart and see, oh, everything is here, everything is here, everything is here.
So your latest play at Stanford, you were acting as three persons, and both were involved in a situation that they had to immigrate. Someone was in prison. Can you go over that and you explain how it was based off of your own story, or it was inspired by that?
Okay. Yes, in Autumn Dance, there are three women who are experiencing exile, even if they are in their own country. There is a journalist in Iran, in prison. There is a prostitute in Paris who pretends to be a journalist because she has met this journalist in Iran. So she wants to ask for asylum. And there is another woman, the sister of this real journalist, who has left Iran when she was 18. She was in prison in Iran, and now she is a dance teacher, dance professor in Paris. There was, in 2009, there was a green movement in Iran because of this false result of elections when Ahmadinejad was re-elected in Iran. There was a green movement, and many, many journalists were arrested in Iran. Many young people who were demonstrating outside were killed. So I was inspired by this green movement in Iran and the protests of Iranian youth. And I wrote this play based on what I have heard about the tortures in Iranian prisons since the beginning of the revolution, and the personal experiences of the women who were in prison, who were raped in prisons, were touched in prisons, sexually abused, just to confess to what they were not. So, and then in 2009, with this wave of immigration, many intellectuals again left Iran. And there were many people who didn't really have problems in Iran, but they left Iran just to take advantage of the situation. And they tried to pretend that they are someone else. So all these matters helped me or made me to write Autumn Dance and to play it.
Great. In your documentary, Dust, Flower, Flame, you describe the life of a 19th century woman who impacted the Iranian women's rights movement. Do you feel like Iran's women's rights movement is progressing or regressing?
Progressing, of course, of course. I don't know the exact percentage, but I think it's more than 60% of Iranian students who are women. We have many physicians, many engineers, many scientists in Iran who are women. In Iran, we forget that we are wearing a scarf. We completely forget it, you know. And when we are outside Iran, we say, "Oh, women in Iran they have to put scarves, and this is kind of obligation." This is kind of obligation, but it doesn't prevent Iranian women to progress, you know. So this is exactly the reason that I chose this subject, Tahireh Qurratulain, because I saw that Iranian women are trying to cross the taboos, to progress, and to say what they want. This was not the case during the first years after the revolution because of war and many other problems. But when I read in the internet, I'm still reading what they are doing, and how many women, Muslim women, who were against the injustice in Iran toward women, they are arrested. I thought that, okay, this is the time to talk about Tahireh Qurratulain and to say that, okay, in 170 years ago, something happened exactly, and you won't need to be executed like her. So the path is open now, I think.
That's great. Do we have a question?
So thank you for your interesting talk. As you already said, when we leave our country, we leave everything behind. And for example, for us, our resume becomes empty. And so, for example, that there is a feeling that we want to prove ourselves to the other people. So what did you do to overcome this feeling?
I remember when I was in Iran, we were traveling most of the time for our shows, for our theater performances. It was organized by Iranian government. And just the day before our departure, we were searching for these handcraft Iranian, souvenirs, gifts, to take with ourselves to show the European people that we are the most generous people in the world. And then we were talking about our civilization. It began in 2,500 years ago, and we have that, and we have this, and then Shirin Ebadi appeared. So Shirin Ebadi is an Iranian. All the time we were trying to say that I am not the person that you think. I am not this stereotype, But when I lost everything, and when I started to have a new life in Paris, I thought that there's no need. There's no need to do that. We have our civilization or whatever, which is very fantastic. But who are we now? And who I am now? I need many things to learn from this country. So there's no need to fight to show that I am an established character and whatever, This is
not
why.
as an Iranian, as Shabnam, for example, as a celebrity, this feeling is much worse. For example, as nobody knows you, nobody knows your works. So, as Shabnam, what did you do to prove yourself that you were a celebrity? You were
Nothing. Nothing. During, I left Iran in 2004, December 2004. Till 2007, I was doing nothing. I remember I was going to a language school. And this was just a simple question, just to make you, talk in French. So, who are you and what do you want to be? Because the others were many young people. I was saying, I was working in theater. What was I doing? No details. So they could imagine that I was working in administration or whatever. I was working in theater. What are you going to be? I don't know. I'm just studying French, I really didn't know, and I was so shy. I was too shy to explain who I was, I was really lost. So I didn't even try to talk about myself. Then, miraculously, Shirin Neshat appeared, and she wanted me to play in her film. And then I started to talk about myself around me, to my friends. And, I started to work. Then I started to work. I went to Germany for a play. I stayed there for 2 years. So I started to work. And just by my works, I tried to show the audience, not the people, not the power, just the audience that I exist. And please come. I have something to share with you. This is what I did.
And what has been the greatest challenge you have faced in your career to date?
Every time that I want to go on stage, for me, this is my great challenge. I am like a child. I start from the point of zero. I am excited. I'm nervous. I think that I can't do anything. And this is a big challenge for me every time. So I can't mention, a particular event that this was my great challenge.
So stage fright, do you get, yeah.
Yes.
And
after 5 minutes, I feel okay, and then
breathing.
I go for it.
Question?
Yes, I have a two-part question. As a multilingual person, sometimes we have different personalities depending on the language that we speak. How did you consolidate these distractions or different forces that internally you have? Or you may not have?
I don't know, really. It's about 13 years that I'm living in France. Maybe I have, I have become another person with a mixture of, gestures or characters. I don't know. Because when my friends come from Iran and stay in my house, they say, "Oh, Shabnam, you have changed a lot." I don't understand that, you know, but I'm so much influenced by the society that I am living in, and by the language and by body language, you know. So that's interesting. You know, what you say, that's interesting. But I never, you know, I was not aware about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But your son was born in Paris.
Yes.
And he's French. So how do you do with that? I mean, what's the feeling? You had a life, and how do you explain it to him? He's a kid, but he also needs to know because he sees
Yes.
your challenges.
Yes. My son is 8 years now. He was 3.5, and he was in school. I went to take him from school, and he started crying when he saw me, and he said, "You know, Paul, his friend, has broken my whatever." And I said, "Oh, this is the third time, but why? Why is he this much, you know, wild, and why did he do that?" I went to Paul, and I said, "Paul, why did you do that?" And he said, No, it was not me. This time it was him." And I went to my son, and I said, "Did you lie to me?" And he was so happy because, you know, he had found a solution. So he started to lie. So he said, yes, I lied. And then I said, "Okay, you have your snack, and then we sit and we talk." And then I told him my story. I said, "You know, I was in Iran, and I was blah, 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 blah." And I told the truth, and I was fired. And now I'm here. And he said, "Oh my God, but you could have lied." And I said, "Yes, but I didn't." So I just want you to tell the truth all the time, and to take the responsibility of the consequences. And since then, it was very interesting. He said, he used a bad word for me. I mean, he said, "Maman t'es con." It means that you're crazy, stupid. But since then, he tells the truth. He tells everything, and now I have to tell him that there is no need to tell everything, you know? There are some secrets. Please keep at least my secrets. But he tells the truth, even if something bad happens, and he says, "Mom, I did that, but okay, I accept the consequences." So this is the only lesson that I can bring from my past, you know, for him. Otherwise, I try to adapt myself to his situation, because, as you say, he's a French, you know, child. So I need to see what's happening for him in the society. I need to go to his school. I need to accompany him in different events, and you know, he takes me with him.
So it was a benediction.
Yes, yes, of course, yes, to help me to live in the present moment with him. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Shabnam. I know some of these memories are not easy to relive, so thank you for being here. Thank you
so much.
You know,
thank you for your invitation. Thank you for your patience. Thank you.
Of course.